If you are a letting agent and you're considering putting some of your properties through Airbnb, listen up to Merilee. She's the queen of short-term lettings. She's the chair lady of the Short-Term Accommodation Association. Merilee, what are your 3 top tips for letting agents thinking of getting into short-term lets? Talk to me.
The first thing is to know how you want to set this up as a product. You know, you have long-term lettings, you may also be into sales, and to create this as a new product that you want to explain to your customers that you're offering. The second thing is to think about, do you want to do this all yourself? Do you want to set up your own team, train that team, hire the people who are going to manage it all? Or do you think it might be better to actually partner with another company, either to do the cleanings and the linens and those sorts of things, or maybe in a deeper partnership and a kind of referral agreement? And I think the third and potentially most important is to know what channels to market you want to reach and how you're going to do it. So choosing the technology that's going to enable you to reach the market that you want, whether that is Airbnb on its own, or indeed whether it's much broader to include a number of different platforms, to include corporate lets, and all of that to access a much wider market in the industry.
Okay, so let's look at those in a little bit more detail. The first one, if memory serves me well, was understanding the product better. So let's expand on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so a client will want to know that you offer certain different products. You've got your long-term lettings, you have sales, and if short-term rentals is something you're offering, you probably need to clearly offer that on your website. You need to be able to offer it to clients that might be looking for that product.
Why should letting agents offer it?
I mean, look, their customers are increasingly demanding it. And if they don't offer it, then those customers are going to go to someone else who does. And I think it would be a shame for letting agents who already have those relationships to allow those customers essentially to walk out the door and work with someone else when they could offer it themselves.
Well, we all know stories of letting agents who don't offer sales, losing the property to the sales agent, and then it goes back up for a long-term let with the sales agent. Now, the second point, if memory serves me well, was how much of it you want to do yourself. I mean, I don't expect letting agents to be going in there changing the sheets.
No, absolutely. And I think the complexity around delivering the service that people require when they're actually renting on a short-term basis is much higher. And so there are companies out there that will help you with the logistics. And there are also companies out there that you could partner with who ultimately do the service end to end, including putting it on all the platforms, managing it, even insuring it, so that you can offer to your customer a kind of end-to-end solution.
What do most letting agents who get involved with you do? Do they prefer just to get it, outsource it all and just take a little cut, or do they like a little bit in between?
So I've seen both, and I've seen everything from companies who actually do the offer themselves and create a whole team. I would say that's pretty few and far between. I would say the majority choose either to offer it and partner with someone to do just the kind of logistics, let's say, or to partner and either dual brand it or have a kind of referral agreement with another company. I mean, with my company, we've tended to work in the referral agreement model, mostly because it's then clear to the end customer, to the owner, that we're responsible for delivering that to them.
But if the owner wants to go long-term let, will you pass it back to the original agent?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to have a partnership, it would be, I think, very short-sighted if we would not hand it back. And that's, I think, about having the right relationship and finding a company that you trust to be able to do that.
And your third point was about channels to market and the technology. What top tips have you got for the agents watching this?
Look, I mean, there are technologies out there that will help to make this easier. And often technologies will do one of two things or both. There are technologies out there that will help you just to reach the channels to market, all the different platforms.
So it's kind of like a system, a CRM system that pumps the feeds out to the different Airbnbs and
Booking and Expedia, et cetera. Yeah, so what we call in our industry a kind of channel management system. Okay. And then you've got your property management system. So this is when all the bookings come in. How do you schedule the cleanings? How do you schedule all the linens, the check-ins, all those activities so that your team is able to deliver that in the most effective way?
Sounds like a lot of hard work, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, look, I mean, that's why there are technologies out there that can help and bring this all together. In the association, there are 2 or 3. There's Hosperia, there's companies like Lavanda, there's companies like Avantio that can kind of help with that. But then there's also companies who operate on these technologies that can do all of the operational elements for you.
And like you said a couple of minutes ago, you can outsource this out to people as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, and there are companies out there that from our sector, again, member companies of our association, who work with agents in all those various different models. And I think, what we even see is with the growth of things like the build to rent sector, our industry works very closely with the UK Apartment Association. And I think solving these things together to offer more flexible models to customers is a pretty exciting opportunity for everyone.
Thank you for your time today. How do people get in contact with the Short-Term Accommodation Association or yourself to find out more?
Well, look, you're welcome to obviously get in touch with me on LinkedIn. The Short-Term Accommodation Association has its own website, so you can Google us and get in touch that way. And we're here to help. We also have an industry conference coming up on the 19th of May, the Short Stay Summit. So that's a great way to just come along and learn a little bit more about the industry before you dive in.
Thank you for your time today, Merilee.
Thanks very much.